Some of the staff members apparently have approached the director, June Hearn, with a view to the understanding that the present situation can only be gained, or a proper understanding of the present situation with it at Hawthorn Institute, and really among the whole education scene, can really only be properly understood by a reference to Marxist philosophy.
You know what I like about Hawthorn? You've got June all year round.
This morning in the shower, as I bent down to pick up a piece of soap, a thought came to me.
And how about Terry Guthridge, our homegrown TV star? He's made more speeches in public than even Judy Carter.
Really, one of the finest administrators I think that the Institute has had the privilege to know. Personally, I think he'll be sorely missed by the Institute. Has really contributed a great deal to the Institute over a period of 15 or so years.
Don't put this on tape.
I see him associated with the college for some years to come, perhaps as a specialist lecturer or consultant. I think that he'll always have a soft spot for Hawthorn, and I think that although he could very easily go on to a completely new career, because he's still a young man and very well qualified and extremely well experienced, I think that we're going to see a bit more before he finally retires.
Who is this person we're talking about?
Yeah, and who
Me, who's usually got the gift of the gab.
One word.
One word.
No, the immediate word that came to mind was survivor, and I can't think of any other.
Now, heads of centres, HOC, have been advertised a lot, and so by definition, we know what is ad hoc.
In terms of spatial abilities from...
Done this after a lot of consultation, and we're going to be interested in further consulting with you and getting feedback and monitoring it absolutely. So please make your opinions known, and we will take it into account in looking at...
Fun, faculty, and a good...
Front of a huge crowd, and as I look around, yes, I can see Don Mitchell over there in his usual position, sitting on the fence.
No, he's not been particularly memorable in that sense.
Great.
I mean, who is this person we're talking about?
Yeah, and who do you think it is?
I've no idea. I've no idea. Who is it?
The umpires are ready, and seeing the ruck for the Ockers, we have Noel Stonehouse, and yes, taking up the position for the ruck for the Ostriches is Terry Duffy. Nice to see he got back from lunch in time to take up his position on the field. And yes, Graham Allen is coming in to bounce the ball. It's not a bad bounce, it slightly favours the Ostriches, and that allows Duffy to get the ball down to his rover in the person of Kevin Egan. He
Carlton Premiership on a half-back flank.
kicked the ball towards a half-forward flank, the big plaque fly, no one can take the mark. Down it goes to ground, and immediately there is a scrimmage. And I can see a number of players in there fighting for funds, and quite a vicious exchange of memos there. A sensation so early in the game. And I see Don Mitchell has got off the fence, and he's now supporting the Ostriches.
You started yet?
Yep.
Oh, I'm gasping around for some words. You started yet?
Yep.
Oh, I'm gasping around for some words.
Is going to ball it up there on the half-forward flank for the Ostriches. In he comes. He's not very good at bounce at all. A typical overseas balls up. And this allows Brian Williamson to knock the ball down to three of his CTAT teammates.
I suppose... Oh, geez, don't put this on tape.
He quickly gets the ball across to Stewart, and she then passes it on to the integrated studies team. And oh, what an interesting sort of move there. With a series of home group activities, they work the ball down.
I'm so tired, I haven't slept a wink. I'm so tired, my mind is myself a drink. I'm so tired.
And that's to Bob Crossweight. He chips the ball over the centre, and I see yes, and it's going to be marked by Ken Bremner, who as usual is wandering all over the place trying to kick a goal. He's quickly tackled. He gets a fairly ineffective free kick towards the half-forward flank, and there we see Liz McDonald leading in the race to the ball by at least 2 accreditation submissions. She can't pick the ball up, however, she knocks it clear, and look at a blistering run. Here comes Barry Brinkworth, and he picks up that ball as if it were a roll of butcher's paper and a box of Texacolors. Immediately he puts boot to ball, it goes a high floating kick towards the forward pocket, and I see down there John Snow is not watching play, he's trying to work out a couple of room changes on the electronic scoreboard. It looks as though it's going to go over his head, but no, at the last minute he's got out his latest document on casual room bookings and he marks the ball easily. He's deep in a very strong angle there in the forward pocket, and it looks as though he's saying it's not his job to put the score on the board. All the leads are covered, and quite clearly he's going to have to do himself. And now, yes, he's got out the military manual. He goes back, and it looks as though it's a good kick. Yes, it is a goal. Believe it or not, the Army captain has kicked a major. And yes, that is a 6-point lead to the Ockers, and until the next influx of federal funds from Canberra, we return you to the studio.
And so there came the idea of the Australian mateship sort of thing, and you relied on your mate. And so the idea of an Ocker was a man who was dependent for his existence and for his survival on his mate, his friend, his cobber, you know, his sport and so on. And this, I think, is probably a fairly positive aspect of Ockerism that continues through the bump that's been published today. An Ocker, for example, believes in giving everybody a fair go. You know, you don't kick a man when he's down.
Also, my contention is that the tradesperson's skills are shared practice. This will become important as I go on. Are shared practices. That is, that they have a social, cultural aspect to them.
He doesn't take too many things too seriously. He doesn't know much about politics. He doesn't know much about religion, but he's prepared to allow, wogs and dagos to have their own, have their own religion and to, eat their own wog food and so on. And he doesn't really sort of care much, really, as long as they don't live next door to him.
Where will he go to from here? Well, I believe there are some good grape growing areas in Beirut.
Popular game show incorporating redundancy and competition for the top jobs. Yes, it's called It Could Be You. There was a number of potential prizes on this particular show. One was Barry Taylor's copy of Southeast Asia on $10 a day, but as we all know, the contents were confidential.
To this place, he has skills, a depth of knowledge and a breadth of understanding that this place needs, and I do regret his going.
These projects were the outcome of a psychology unit called Perception, and as the psychology lecturer, my job was to give a brief introduction to the theory relevant to these projects. Spatial ability.
Stuart Rigby's glowing, his psych department's growing in the morning. But now they have more choices. There's conflict in their choices in the morning. Our aliens are wombat, well equipped for combat in the morning.
What would we choose, given the choice? Do we have that choice to choose? Or indeed, can we be choosy about the choice chosen?
He's always found on duty, except when punching Judy in the morning.
Right, Judy?
Right.
Lips and scientific, but let's be more specific in the morning. When it comes to perving, it's hard to beat Col Irving in the morning. Pushing human biology in their usual manner, with partner in crime, hard-hearted Hannah. A scientific paper on the massage parlour caper in the morning.
They turn around to the doctor and say, what the hell did you pass it for? And that's what's happened. So the solution is to them, you just don't pass asthmatics, and that way you don't get sued or anything else. So it's almost illegal to use them. So you've got to make a decision whether you're going to be honest or not.
There? Do you like who they put you in your room with? Or do the teachers
Oh,
get
no, we have got a room over in the motel, so that's all right.
Oh, with your own showers and things too?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Did you get a refund for having a bad room?
The blokes down there in graphics are an ageing horde. Their average age is 62. They have a geriatric ward. John Stinchcombe and Ron Bale, their better days, they've had 'em. And Foster has just lingered on since the time of Adam. Don't get sand in your computer, that's the thing to teach. So imagine a robo system that's controlled by a beach. David Beech's mainframe body is thin and kind of bendy. But as any secretary will tell you, he sure is user-friendly.
It seems to me that we might need a bit of a lead in. Maybe we try some exercise to start the weekend off. Okay? Maybe a bit of playing around with clay. For example, clay modelling. Get the hands right into the clay and work up. Really good stuff.
Oh, for God, I'm sorry. You know, it makes it all official. Yes, I know. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
Take this now. So the inevitable restructure has given us associate directors, and Brennan, Laity and Tian have joined the ranks of defectors.
And work it through and even make it for you.
Now that sounds good. What sort of things can we do here, Paul?
Kevin, we've got a range of audio-visual equipment here. We have slide projectors, we have all sorts of audio recording equipment, we have video equipment.
And of course there's Graham and the crew who are filming this production just this very moment.
Then there are the heads of centres where the power lingers on, but how noble are the mighty chiefs when all the Indians have all gone. Jack Potter has quit the scene, and really that's not cricket. Tom and Ian are the final pair, and they're on a sticky wicket. They can do the work of three, and their budget's not worth seeking. Phys ed's only playing games, at least that's broadly speaking. The computer staff. The computer staff are united, democratically led by Allett. When choosing any new software, they hold a secret ballot.
But I'm not as vulgar as him. He makes friends with students, visits schools, drinks at the pub. I drink in offices on Friday night. So I look down on him.
I know my fellows.
Like Morecambe and Wise, Laurel and Hardy, we have Vic and Bruce. To have one without the other isn't really much use. The pity about losing such blokes as they move to greener borders is that they're the only two people here who are used to taking orders. We have a lot of PhDs. Hearn and Batruni are wary. Macpherson and Blatchford are likewise, because one doctor is a fairy.
Doctor Who? Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who? Doctor Who? Doctor Who? Is always getting his own coffee from the staff room, and by the time he got back to his own office, most of it was empty. Because he used to spill it all up and down the corridor.
Helpful, sensitive, and
short.
He said something.
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Why is that your strongest memory? However, can you remember when you were a student at Melbourne University?
Yes, and Trevor was my method lecturer who came out to crit my lessons.
And did he give you a good crit? Oh, well, you're a good teacher.
Of course.
Was he a good teacher trainer?
Yeah.
All right. Any other events you remember about Trevor?
No, the strongest one is the Spate conference in Canberra.
Why? In Sydney?
Oh, in Sydney, wasn't it?
Doctor Who? Doctor Who?
Just say Doctor Who as if you're asking a question.
To you?
We feel that behavioural objectives can be mechanical, a factory model where the teacher assumes responsibility for the whole process.
Cartin, Boyd and Fyvie are striving for their masters, and Cole Macpherson has established Hawthorne as the centre for disasters.
Than norm-based assessment.
Doctor Who? Doctor Who?
Doctor Who?
Question.
Doctor Who? Doctor Who?
Say it again, Bucks. That's all I've got to say. I'm sorry. Days when we went down to the CAF to form the Faculty of Teacher Education and all the rest of it, you don't remember any of that?
Old Patroni, I'll never forget him. One of the greatest Irishmen to work around this place. I tell you that.
Well, the time has come for these proceedings to draw to a close, but they can't until we do one more thing, and that is we ask one more person to say something about it. And I'm now going to call upon Mr. Gordon Bale. Gordon.
Distinguished guests of long standing and shorter standing. Okay, I've got to remember to do that. Well, it's a real honour to be here this afternoon to stand in the presence of so many people who have made such an outstanding contribution to education, and particularly technical education in this state. It is an honour to be the director, or if you like it more simply, the principal of this institution, which has been built on very sound foundations by people of long ago who are standing or sitting in this room this afternoon. I look at Alan Blackman, I look at Fred Brooks, and I can keep on looking around. And it is no wonder that come possibly 2 weeks' time, you'll see the announcement in the paper of why this place has not had to amalgamate, and why that is simply because it's standing on very firm foundations. You can take that as a rumour today, but just watch the paper for a couple of weeks' time. I am fully confident of that now, so the staff can look forward to their checks from here on.
You know, Gordon, those interminable memos that I had to write to you all this year, they made me so anxious. And then, suddenly, the standoff was off. And then suddenly, even more, I got your 2 last memos, and I was delighted. And just in case my delight was not fully expressed by my final last memo to you, I'm here now to say, you made me love you. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. You made me love you. And all the time you knew it. I guess you always knew it. You made me happy sometimes. You made me sad. And there were times, God, you made me feel so mad.
I won't merge. Don't ask me. I won't merge. Don't ask me. I won't merge. Swindling with you. My heart won't let my head see it through. So there, Swindon, I won't merge with you. I won't merge. Why should I? I won't merge. How could I won't merge. Merci beaucoup. If with RMIT I should get the urge, but with you, Swinburne, my friend, I won't merge. No, 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 I won't merge. Ba, 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 I won't merge.
He is, of course, infallible and constantly on call. Now, when you think about it, Gordon's done it all. So let us merge with the Vatican and watch this college grow. Hope John Paul can step aside and let Gordon run the show. Sit there! Sit there!
Farewell to our home forever. Farewell to my old chums as well. Farewell to the well-known old staff room, where we all used to get on so well, singing to. Farewell, dear old Hawthorne, hooray! Now at Hawthorne I had some commanders. Brian Broughton, Jeff Potter are 2. Mike Barraclough, Cole Irving and others. What hell have I put them all through? Singing to
Uncertainty and change.
Singing to
Let us hope there's enough of us who will try to put people before paper in order to secure our collective future. Because, imagine there's no war. Imagine there's no hawthorn. It's easy if you try. People without commitment, ideas pie in the sky. Imagine all the people on redundancy pay. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. We'll all have to own our future if the battle's to be won.
We'll all meet at that chalk face one day, singing a tooralai-oo-ra-la-dee, singing tooralai-oo-ra-la-ay, singing tooralai-oo-ra-la-dee. Farewell, dear old Hawthorne, hooray!
I'll go home. And I'll think of some way to get him back. After all, tomorrow is another day.